Hello? All right, I'm going to go talk to you from down there. All right.
What does like?
Hello everyone, happy Sunday. We're coming to you live from Hickey Field here at Siena College for more action at the National Small College Rugby Organization Championships. This is Leverett Ball. I'll be your play-by-play announcer today as you tune in on either the NSCRO YouTube channel or the Next Level Rugby channel. In Game 1 today, St. John's takes on Endicott. Both teams are coming off losses earlier in the tournament, but play today for pride and the opportunity to make the most of their experience here in Albany. And we're just about set to get underway. St. John's has taken the field, now followed by Endicott. And St. John's will kick to start. And we're underway. Short kick, fielded by Endicott along the touchline. And now the ruck is formed.
Nope.
St. John's actually battling there in the ruck, but called for hands in the ruck. So Endicott will maintain possession.
Counter was good, just don't have his hands in.
And Endicott will drill that ball out.
All right. Guys, I'm going to set the defensive mark and then offensive.
And it looks like Endicott will take the line out.
No problem. Excellent.
And not a clean line out, but Endicott able to recover, now forming the ruck.
That's fine.
But now St. John's able to win the ball there. So St. John's, to this point, has shown great aggressiveness in the rucks defensively, just blowing them up. And now they're in possession and will go to work offensively. Solid tackle there. And now driving. Using that physicality. Endicott, a little bit of a faster team, but St. John's bigger and stronger. Able to break some tackles. And a scoring opportunity here. And taking it in. And a try for St. John's. They're on the board early. And that was the 8-man Andrew Mooney. And St. John's off to a rolling start. St. John's wasting no time and being very aggressive there, picking balls up out of the ruck and taking it rather than trying to pass it down the line. And the kick connects. That was Noah Hines Marquette. And St. John's off to a 7-0 lead. And nothing like making a statement early on a Sunday morning with some physicality.
Give me one step back.
St. John's has certainly showed up to play. We'll see
Back,
if Endicott
guys,
can
back,
respond.
back.
The ruck is formed.
Yes, he does.
And a quick touch and go. Now St. John's trying to space it out. That pass dropped. Loose ball.
That poach is good.
And now Endicott getting something going offensively here. And after that quick try to start things out by St. John's, Endicott showing some life.
That was knocked by green, then by red. Scrum red.
So they award a scrum to St. John's, a knock called on Endicott. And that'll slow down their momentum. They had a good offensive drive going there.
Perfect, guys. Thank you. All right, nice and slow. Crouch. Fine. Hold the drive.
And nice execution there by Jack Riley on that scrum. Now Endicott receiving the kick. And now forming a ruck.
Drive was good, but it fell over.
So play whistle dead. Endicott will maintain possession. So that ball kicked out. Endicott will go with the line out. As a former lock myself, this is one of the things I miss most about rugby. Competing for the ball in the air. And that line out actually won by St. John's.
Ball. Get out.
So a timely win in the line out with Endicott threatening.
5, collapsing them all.
And St. John's
Five,
actually had a
collapsing
couple
them all.
very solid defensive stands here, with Endicott threatening. And still holding Endicott scoreless to this point. As that ball booted downfield. Endicott back in possession. And a missed tackle there, now taken to the turf. And now Endicott setting things up. Ruck formed. And now spinning it out.
Hookers, thank you.
And we'll have another scrum here.
Thank you, Dave. Crouch. Fine.
And Jack Riley, the scrummy, is set. And that ball taken out of the scrum by the 8-man,
Advantage
Andrew
red.
Mooney.
High tackle.
And a high tackle called there on Endicott. And they'll go back 10. And obviously, the officials taking player safety very seriously. And in rugby,
Well,
unlike in American
I'll
football,
give you guys time.
you're not allowed to hit up around the shoulder areas like you see in so many NFL games. So line out one by St. John's.
Now you can come. That ball is out now.
Solid tackle made there. Now the
Available.
ruck formed. And St. John's once again taking it right out of the ruck. Using that physicality, that size
That's
advantage.
fine.
And now Endicott back in possession. And moving the ball down the line. St. John's doing a great job defensively sliding over. And that's just good communication and hustle defensively. As a tackle broken. And now free in the open field, but taken down.
Good clear.
So Endicott will form the ruck and now boot it downfield.
Line out up here.
So it'll be a line out for Endicott. St. John's has been able to poach the ball a couple times on lineouts. Actually, excuse me, St. John's will take the line out. So line out one by St. John's.
Yes. That's out. That's out now. Go play.
And now they'll spin it down the line. And a solid tackle made there. The ruck is formed. And we've seen St. John's, taking the ball out of scrums and lineouts and just trying to run people over. That time they tried to pass it down the line, use some space.
Just keep your guy tighter in, and it won't be a separated ball.
And we'll have another scrum. So Jack Riley is set once again.
Crouch. Fine. Set. 7, don't swing your leg out like that. Okay? No, don't do it. Don't put your leg back in.
Now St. John's going back to work offensively. The ball picked up out of the ruck.
You step back.
And
Green
the tackle
back.
made. Ruck formed once again. And once again, being aggressive, picking up the
Back,
ball
forward,
out of the
back.
ruck and going right away. We'll see if they try and spin it out this time.
You're okay. Thank you. Good effort.
And one pass and back at it. And as I talked about,
Leave
St.
it.
John's knows they
Green.
have the size advantage a little bit over Endicott. And
Give me a
using,
step.
to this point, that bruising approach offensively.
No. Red, not rolling away.
So St. John's called for not rolling away after the
Over
tackle. Endicott will take over again.
Yellow.
Endicott still trying to find their rhythm offensively. Their backs have looked a little bit out of sync with their passing. And St. John's a very smart team defensively and a team that slides well. As the tackle made, ruck formed. And the ball spun out, but a bad pass, scooped up. And a skip pass there. But St. John's was all over it, not caught off guard by that skip pass. Tackle made. And thus far, I've been very impressed with the job St. John's has done defensively. And there's a hard hit made there.
Stop. Yeah, you know, I think he was slipping, and I know, but still, way down. Okay. Thank you. No, but very low tolerance now.
And a bit of a high tackle there.
Time on.
Got him around the neck area. And now St. John's will set up for the line out. St. John's has been very effective at this point in the lineouts. And now going back to work offensively and spinning it out. And a tackle broken there and out in the open field.
No, 10 on the ground. Delaying game.
So nice run there by
Marcus here,
Nathan
goal
Cobb.
Back 10 from here.
And Endicott actually called for delaying the game. Quick touch and go. And the ball
He lost it forward.
fumbled, so no try.
Got nothing wrong. I was also focused on your dive, so.
Kyle Salverda just trying to muscle it in there. And we'll have another scrum. St. John's threatening once again, looking to add to their lead.
Crouch.
Endicott will take the scrum, however.
Bind. Set. Hold it steady.
As the tackle made, ruck formed. And now Endicott just looking
Give
to
me a
muscle
step,
it
Brad,
out.
Give me a step.
And that ball booted smartly, but not a very deep kick.
Sorry about that.
And now St. John's
Still
will
in.
form the ruck and go
Back
back
a
to work
step. Green
offensively.
back. Advantage red. 7 offside.
Man, a low pass there.
Not
And catching
coming.
it on one hop.
7 red. Offside. Forwards, I need more space in the breakdown. Offside. Yeah, foot. He got it. He got it. Hey, great effort. Great effort. All right. Yeah.
So St. John's will
Real quick,
take
real
another
quick.
line out.
Forwards. Hey, forwards. Forwards. Green forwards. I need more space on the breakdown.
And we'll see, obviously, with them
Come up.
threatening position, we'll see if they spin the ball out or just try to run a tank play. Obviously, with the physicality they have, they may very well just try to pound it in. Line out one by St. John's. And they do run the tank. Trying to drive it in. And across the try line, and a try.
Scored by number 6.
So Max Ditzler credited with the try. And St. John's continues their solid performance here on this early Sunday morning. And Heinz Marquette will take the kick once again. And the kick does not connect. But St. John's now working on a 12-0 lead. And St. John's coming off a loss to Claremont College, earlier in this tournament, trying to avenge that
One
loss.
step. Yep.
And in these consolation games, as I said, teams playing for pride, trying to
you're
make
there.
the
Thank
most
you.
of their time here in Albany. As that ball booted, and Endicott will go back to work offensively. And showing some explosiveness there. Ruck
Drove him off.
formed,
That's fine.
and Endicott will spin it out. That pass bobbled but caught. Now a solid tackle there, but able to make the offload.
Guys, enough.
And now a scoring opportunity here for Endicott. But a solid tackle made. And trying to drive it in. And Endicott is on the board.
Yeah. I saw that. I saw him was the ruck. I didn't see it for real. I did see it. I told him to stop, but yeah.
So
Thank you.
Endicott showing some life here offensively. Able to muscle that ball in across the try line. And that was the 8-man Orion man. And the kick does not connect. Tough spot there, obviously scoring in the corner. But Endicott is on the board. It's now 12-5 St. John's. So after St. John's was able to get off to such a hot start, Endicott responding. And they're certainly not going to go down without a fight, as St. John's will kick. Another short kick. Both times St. John's has kicked today, they've kicked it short. You know, I'm guessing that they want to keep the ball out of the hands of some of Endicott's backs. Endicott does have such good speed as a team. And now St. John's will go back to work offensively. And wrapped up, but still driving, not going down without a fight. Now taken to the turf.
5 off his feet.
And a quick touch and go. And off to the races,
Advantage
but
over.
slipping. Endicott catching a break there.
Off his feet.
Wyatt Kokes actually slipping to the turf there. Looked like he had a chance to break one as the ruck formed once again.
4 back.
And a nice solid tackle there. So Endicott now back in possession. We'll see if they try and boot it away. And they do. But that ball stays in. St. John's will go back to work. Now with some space. But a solid tackle made there by Finn Cohane.
No hands. You're on your hands first. There you guys, yep.
So St. John's,
Second
as
step,
they have
22 back, 12
all
back.
match long,
12. Use
trying
it,
to be
please.
physical and use their hard nose forwards just to pound the ball offensively. Still driving. And once again, the 8-man Andrew Mooney using his physicality. He was the one who got the scoring started with that early try for St. John's.
Advantage green on the knock.
But now Endicott able to ruck over the ball and going back to work offensively. Tackle made. And we'll see if they try to spin it out here.
We're coming back. Nothing's coming. No, it's just a scrum advantage. Just a scrum.
So we'll have another scrum.
Knock on red.
St. John's called for the knock on there.
Move a little bit to your left. There you go. Drop open a hooker. Crouch. Fine. Set.
And Endicott will go back to work. Now trying to space it out. And a switch run there. St. John's, though, all over it.
No, 8 was off his feet and then
And
brought
I
it back.
continue to be impressed by
Off his
how
feet,
fundamentally
brought it
sound
back.
St. John's is defensively. You know, not falling for switches, not falling for skip passes. Obviously, they're a big physical team, but a smart one as well. As that ball booted away, and Endicott will most likely take a line out here. They will.
Thank you, Red.
And as you see there, St. John's not falling for that switch. So we'll come back to the line out. St. John's has been effective poaching the ball to this point. As that ball deflected.
Oh, good. That's all good.
Endicott will maintain possession, however. Now trying to get on a roll offensively as the skip pass dropped and a knock on. Endicott had numbers to the outside, couldn't connect on that pass. Garrett Champion probably thinking about his next move before he caught that ball.
Crouch.
So it'll be a scrum for St. John's.
Fine.
Jack Riley set once again. And St. John's out of the scrum, running a switch and looking for some open daylight. Tackle made. Now the ruck formed, and St. John's once again picking up and going out of the ruck. They've done that so often today. Now spinning it out. And another solid tackle made.
Tackle, release him.
And that's the
Turnover
biggest
good.
contrast in the
Turnover
styles
good.
of these teams offensively.
Advantage now, right on the
You know,
knock.
Endicott likes to use their
Advantage
backs a little
over.
bit more. As driving down the field, once again, Andrew Mooney. And potential high tackle there, and it is called.
No, stopping because that was dangerous. Yeah. Dave, number.
Life insurance have to do with
But as I was saying, Endicott likes to use their backs a little bit more. St. John's likes to be physical with the pack. They like to, pick it up and go out of the ruck.
Go. One back there. Had one.
And just a tackle around the throat there. Completely illegal. There's no official who's not going to call that.
When I said tackler, he came. Thought it was one. Yellow.
So a yellow card issued. It appears.
Number one, come here.
It was on Jeffrey Page.
When I called the tackler, you came over.
From
You made the
Endicott.
tackle.
Actually,
Who hit him high? You did. Said he did.
now some confusion as to who they're assessing the penalty to.
Okay. That's fine. It would work out that way anyway.
So it was actually
to come off,
Joshua Farber who will go to the sin bin.
We have the high tackle penalty here. Time is off. Mark, use your 10 mark. Not until my watch is on, okay? Number 4, do you have the time on that? Thank you. Time on.
And St. John's will go back to work.
That turnover was fine. It was in the tackle.
And a good spot right here.
Yeah, that turnover is fine as well. Red ball.
And look for them to
No hands
continue
green.
to try to pound the ball offensively. Now setting up the ruck. And taking
Lift
it
into it.
right
5
out of the ruck
move.
once again.
5 move. Thank you, 5. That turnover's good. First man in.
And a tackle broken there.
Move away, Red. Move away,
The
Red.
ruck set. And Endicott will spin it out and now boot it. Not the deepest kick. Fielded. But going to the turf. That was Eric Clark Jr. Slipping, losing his footing. Slightly wet conditions here having an impact as that passes drop, but quickly scooped up. And now driving, not going down without
no
a
hands,
fight.
Green, no hands.
Once again, Andrew Mooney.
That's fine. He picked it up. That's a play on. Tackle. Red ball. Tackle. Red ball. Green never stole it. Red
And
had
taking out of
possession.
the ruck once again. Now setting up. And that pass intercepted.
No. Offside.
But an offsides call.
13, Green.
That was Garrett Champion being called for the offsides. So St. John's will give it a boot and take another line out.
Yeah, you're good there. Thank you.
And they run another tank.
Inbound 5.
We'll see if they try to spin it out now.
He's through the middle. That's fine. That's
And now a loose ball.
all right. So, no. It was knocked on. He tried to strip it and he lost it in the mall. That was fine. Go forward. Looks like I haven't made a family.
So St. John's will take another scrum. And we'll see if they try and switch up their approach here a little bit. Maybe try and spin this ball out. Use some of their athleticism. as they try to add to their 12-5 lead.
Out.
As that ball spun out. And the hesitation pass there. And a solid tackle made. The ruck quickly formed. Spun out once again. And a kick and chase. Endicott not falling for it, though. Endicott now back in possession. Play whistle dead. St. John's tried to make something happen there with the kick and chase. Endicott, though, all over it. And the kick and chase, not always the most high percentage play, but, you know, it can be such an adrenaline rush when you're able to pull that play off.
Guys, keep him back when my hand's up. When he comes down, you can
St. John's will take another scrum.
On the line out. Crouch.
So Riley set once again.
Fine. Set.
And St. John's will spin it out. That pass bouncing, now scooped up.
Advantage. Unintentional.
And a tackle broken there, but finally taken to the turf.
All right, that was a good poach. We had a knock on in the attempted pick here. So it's a scrum red.
So knock on called. St. John's will take another scrum.
I'll stay on your. Thank you. All right. We have time off. Mac, just keep him on the field if he's going to try to pop it back in.
And play stopped momentarily. Appears to be
that's fine. He hasn't made
an injury issue for Nathan Cobb.
You're buying a little bit higher? Okay. Yeah. We're going to, how long do you think it's going to take?
And now Cobb being attended to by the trainer.
You guys have been working hard. They can take a couple. As a former forward myself. Okay. Right. So we're going to have a blood sub. He's on.
And now a substitution for St. John's.
Time back on.
And that is Keegan Odell, excuse me.
Green.
Checking in, but he is an injury sub.
Crouch.
So Cobb not necessarily done for the day.
Fine.
As St. John's will set up the scrum once again.
Set. Yes. Good bind over here.
And now St. John's spinning it out, but
Play
that pass
advantage.
dropped. And Endicott back in possession. And now taking it out of the ruck.
He was not held. Yep. Advantage over.
And now trying to spin it out. And that ball given a boot. And caught by St. John's. They'll set up the ruck
Stay
once
right
again.
There, 12. Good.
And now with an opportunity here. As that pass dropped. No knock-on called. Actually, now play whistled. It appears they call a knock-on on Endicott.
Yeah.
Or, excuse me, on St. John's. St. John's, though, it looked for a moment there like they may have a scoring opportunity.
Come a little bit to your left. There you go.
Just not on the same page with those passes. So Endicott will take the scrum and catching a break there.
Crouch. Fine. Set. Hold it steady, guys.
And now exploding into the open field. That was Finn Cohane.
No, he lost his feet. Yes.
And now a quick touch and go for Endicott. Now Endicott getting in a
Good,
little
thank
bit
you, too.
of a
Good
rhythm offensively. As that pass does not connect, but scooped up. And the ruck formed. Endicott will spin it out once again. And taken down. And still driving.
All right, guys, enough. No hands, Red. Good, stay back. Guys, we're done. 21, enough. Stay there. That's a maul. That's a maul. That's a maul.
Endicott now driving in the maul.
It's available now.
Finally taken to the ground. Now threatening.
No hands, Red. No hands, Red. That's still in. No, no hands. No, he was fine. He drove you off.
Now Endicott will try to space it out. St. John's all over it, though.
Good counter.
As that ball taken out of the ruck.
Back foot.
So Endicott continues to chip away offensively. Still driving.
Yep, three, stay. Three, stay there. No, one, don't do that.
As the ruck formed once again.
No, that's in still. Advantage. Play on. Advantage green. 13 side. Stay back.
So we'll see now if Endicott just tries to muscle it in. This is what you love,
Release
that old school
tackle.
physical rugby
Good.
right on the try line.
He came back up. Green, maintain your feet. Green, maintain your feet. You drove him down. You can't pull him down.
And now spacing it out once again. St. John's trying to blow up that ruck. But Endicott able to maintain it and spinning out once again.
High tackle. Advantage green.
2 minutes to play in the half.
Okay.
As Endicott trying to tie this thing up. And trying to drive it in.
No, advantage not gained. High tackle.
But a high tackle called on St. John's.
Hang on. Time off.
So Endicott will have the chance to set up a play here.
Oh, okay.
And returning from the sin bin is Joshua Farber.
Time back on.
He had to take a seat earlier after that high tackle. And Endicott will go back to work. And driving. Not in yet.
No. Lost their feet. Lost their feet. Yes, if the yellow line is a try, they lost their feet. Came straight down. It's 3 minutes. Yeah. Yeah, they didn't stop the puck. Guys, 3 minutes left. 3 minutes. Matt, 3 minutes.
So now St. John's will boot it away and take another line out.
We're all looking for the break. I know they don't know to stop it when I double. Yeah,
So
I
a
know, yeah,
solid defensive stand there by
Guys,
St.
I'll keep
John's.
letting you know. Yep. Blue mark is here. Right, on the ruck.
And St. John's would not be out-muscled on the try line there. Using their physical, hard-nosed play. And now they'll have a line out.
Stay back!
And St. John's able
Get
to win
back!
the line out. And now running a tank. And now trying to explode out offensively. And now with some space. As that ball booted, Endicott now back in possession. And they'll give it a kick.
Stay.
And another boot.
Okay, we're all on now. We're all on.
And as the tackle made, Endicott will
We're
form
good.
the ruck. And that ball spun out by St. John's. And now breaking free into the open field. And a try for St. John's. So after muscling the ball all match long with their forwards, that time using their numbers and showing off the speed and passing ability of their backs, and able to bring it home, and they'll add to their lead. And what a momentum swing that was. You know, Endicott was threatening near the try line. St. John's able to have that solid defensive stand and then march down the pitch and score. And they'll make a big statement here at the end of the half. So the kick connects,
Thank you for the blood sub, Matt.
and it's now 19-5 in St. John's favor. So
What
that'll
does
do it
life
for the first
insurance
half
have to
of
do with
action.
rugby? More than you might think. Creating a
After one,
strategic game
St.
plan in
John's, as
rugby is key to
mentioned.
what does life insurance?
And it's funny, as I talked about, they changed up their approach there a little bit. Towards the end of the half, you know, they've been using their forwards so well offensively. But on that last try, spacing it out, using some passes. And so, after one, once again, 19-5, we'll be back in just a minute.
Have to do with rugby? More than you might think. Creating a strategic game plan in rugby is key to winning. A sevens match can change in an instance, so you need to have a strong defense, solid offense, and the flexibility to move between the two. It's the same for finding success in your financial life, whatever that means to you. Setting up a game plan that can help you tackle life is crucial for financial success. A good coach has knowledge of the game, sets goals for the team, and creates a strategy, which can be critical to achieving success both on and off the pitch. And when it comes to your financial life, having a relationship with a good advisor can be just as valuable to help you plan and meet your goals. Having the confidence that you're strong enough to play every minute as hard as the first gives you the best possibility to succeed during a match. And being financially fit gives you the ability to tackle opportunities and live life with confidence, knowing that if the unexpected happens, you're protected. Rugby and life insurance. They're closer than you think. Find out more at pennmutual.com/rugby.
It's a great day to be a Saint. Got our paws on some sophisticated technology. Practiced a little saint-like behavior. We came and went the distance toward discovery. Preparing to join the ranks of the saints before us. We're a school with heart, in pursuit of greater inspiration that connects us forever.
In our game, we play with our hearts. We don't play with sticks, bats, or gloves. We don't wear shoulder pads or helmets. We keep playing when it hurts. And we leave everything on the field. What we wear must be built for our game.
Hey, rugby fans, rugby is everywhere. The giant is awakening, and Rugby Wrap-Up is there with the alarm clock. Rugby Wrap-Up, global rugby coverage, sometimes with a wink. Weekly studio shows, daily website content, breaking news, evolving stories, the biggest names in the game on camera, all over social media. Pundits from all corners of the planet, local, global, professional, amateur, female, and male. Find it all on rugbywrapup.com.
And welcome back, everyone, for this second half as St. John's and Endicott battling it out. So St. John's hanging on to that 19-5 lead, and as I've talked about, you know, they've been able to really outmuscle Endicott physically. You know, in the scrums, in the rucks, they are a much bigger team than Endicott, but Endicott, on the other hand, definitely the faster team. And if they want to have a chance of coming back, they need to do a better job of spacing the ball out, you know, passing the ball, using that speed a little bit better. And Endicott, you know, they have been a little bit out of sync with their passes, and they've made some errors with knock-ons and whatnot. But if Endicott can get their backs in sync, move the ball down the line, like I said, you know, they're a very dangerous team, certainly very explosive offensively. There were a couple high tackle penalties in the first half. And actually, Joshua Farber set to the sin bin earlier for a tackle around the throat area, and that's something, you know, officials key in on, you know, for the sake of player safety.
Thank you.
And that's, I think, one misconception that people have about rugby, people who don't know the sport well, is that, you know, some people, they think of it as almost like American football without pads, but that's not the case at all. You know, while there's a lot less protection in rugby, the rules are a lot stricter than they are in American football as to how you can tackle people.
Good contest. Play on.
And they teach you, you know, obviously to wrap up and tackle fundamentally.
Tackle.
As we're back underway now.
Give me that space, guys.
And St. John's going back to work.
7, you're crawling on your hands. No. Penalty back here.
So play whistle dead.
7 crawling on his hands. We got time.
And St. John's will maintain possession. And St. John's will give it a boot and take another line out. That was one area they dominated in the first half.
Right here, guys. If you want to move out, you can. Stay!
And St. John's running the line out, running a tank play, and now spinning it out. And trying to break free into the open field. Tackle made.
Nope, he lost it. Leave it green. No, he had it. He lost his feet.
And play whistle dead.
Didn't
St. John's will maintain possession. And booted away once again. And St. John's will take another line out
Yeah, 8, the positioning was great. You just didn't maintain.
as that ball actually completely leaving play. And the lineout won by St. John's. Dominic Oden has just been so effective in those lineouts. Endicott really has not had an answer for him to this point. As St. John's driving now, going back to work.
Thank you, 12.
As the ruck formed once again, St. John's now spinning it out. That pass does not connect.
Echo. Oh.
As the tackle made there, ruck formed. And now St. John's going back to work. And now exploding into the open field. This could be a scoring opportunity. And another try for St. John's. Wyatt Kokesh there, going the distance. When he caught that pass, it looked like he might try to just move it down the line. Saw an opening, exploded through it, and St. John's able to add to their lead.
Okay, yeah.
And nicely done there by Kokesh.
Got me. I know it looks. I'll try to make it look prettier.
And the St. John's offense, really the complete package, with their very physical forwards, but also, an explosive back line. They can beat you in so many different ways. Tough spot here, though, for the kick, obviously, with Kokesh scoring in the corner. And the kick does not connect. But St. John's now with a 24-5 lead.
Okay.
And Endicott will kick once again. And a short kick there. And Endicott back in possession. And Endicott will go back to work.
All right, leave him now. Release him.
And they know they have to play with a sense of urgency, trying to climb out of this 24-5 hole. As the ruck formed.
Good job, too.
Endicott now spinning it out. And a solid tackle made there.
'21, don't bridge, okay? Stay on your hands. Stay off your hands. Thank you.
And now spinning it out. And breaking free. And Endicott now threatening.
Play on.
As that pass caught on the deflection. And Endicott with the skip pass, moving it down the line. Tackle made.
Thank you, 4. Good job. All right. Not held.
And now driving.
No. There was a knock first by Green. Touched by another player.
So Endicott called for the knock-on. St. John's will take the scrum. And as you see on that replay, Orion man for Endicott.
Scrums have been great. Let's keep
Trying
that
to
going.
take it to the house. And looked for a minute when he first got that ball like he might try to spin it out.
Crowd.
But trying to use his
Fine.
physicality there and muscle it in. As
Got-
St. John's will go back to work with
Hold.
the scrum.
Green hold. Here we go. It's out.
And St. John's gives it a boot.
Glad you know. Nobody knows. Yeah, right?
And it'll be a line out for Endicott.
All right,
We'll see,
4,
though, if
red.
Dominic Odin can poach this ball. As I've talked about, he's just been so effective in the lineouts today.
No, double pump.
The shot still looks good.
Free kick. Yep. That's a free kick. Full pump.
So James Carew actually called for the double clutch there.
It's going to go to them if it does. Yes.
And that was
Right
caused
here on the
by Odin timing that
we go.
perfectly, getting ready to defend it, and forcing the double pump. As now St. John's will go back to work offensively after that solid defensive
Keep going,
stand.
guys. Keep going. Keep forwards. I need more. Back. Right here. You got to get back, okay?
Now St. John's trying to move it down the line. Tackle made.
Nope. Not tackled.
And the ruck formed. And now a loose ball. Scooped up there by Mooney. And still driving.
Tackle. Turnover good.
And he is one hard guy to tackle once he gets his feet moving.
9 in the collar. Right here. Here you go.
So quick touch and go for Endicott.
Heading back in.
And a big hit there.
Backwards.
And now Endicott will try and move it down the line. And now giving it a boot.
Backwards. Play on.
No knock call there as the ball was deflected backwards. And Endicott still in possession. Obviously, trailing like they are, they need an explosive play here. As the
All
ruck
good.
formed once again. We'll see if they try a skip pass. They do, but the pass bounces.
First time it was, second time it wasn't.
So Endicott called for the knock-on. We'll have another scrum, I believe.
2 and 14 red. Sub off. Okay, yeah, time is off right now. 11 green. Sub. Oh, he's over there. I see him. Time back on.
So St. John's will take another scrum. I'm starting to sound like a broken record with
Crouch.
the number of scrums we had to this point in the
Fine.
match.
Set. Right there. Thank you, Brian.
Now St. John's spinning it out of the scrum and driving. Still driving. Going back to their early first half approach of just trying to muscle the ball with their forwards as that kick blocked.
Nope. 5, lost it forward. Charge was good.
Appears they'll call a knock on there on Endicott. Excuse me, now it'll be an Endicott scrum.
Move your right foot just to the left of the mark. No, the left. There you go. Thank you.
And 52 minutes in, St. John's still leading Endicott by a score of 24-5.
It is a joke. It's not a good one, though. Yeah. Crouch. Fine. Set.
So the ball spun out of the scrum as the tackle is made.
No, he lost his feet. He had it, but he lost his feet. 23.
And now Endicott trying to get back in a rhythm offensively as that ball is booted. And caught by St. John's. Hard hit there.
Yep, stay there, guys.
Clean
Give me a
tackle,
step.
though. No
Right here.
penalty.
Yes.
And now St. John's back at it.
Back foot, Green. Back foot. Back foot. Guys, all right. All right. You okay? 20. You okay? I know. I'm just making sure you're okay. Yeah. All right, guys. We're going to take the temperature down just a little bit, okay?
Things are starting to get a little bit sloppy on both ends. But as you see, the second half has been pretty physical. Some very solid but clean hits. And that's one of the things I miss the most as a washed-up retired player is all the hitting, all the contact.
Set. Hold it steady, guys. Steady up.
As Endicott will spin it out now. I'm surprised they haven't tried more skip passes. Try to catch St. John's off guard. And in this situation, trailing like they are, you know, they need to make some explosive plays offensively. Just trying to run people over isn't going to cut it when you're losing 24-5.
Hey, guys.
As the tackle made there. And the
Didn't
ruck
get it.
formed.
No, hands away. No, 8. Thank you, 8.
And that ball booted. And St. John's will go back to work. Now giving it a kick and chase. And able to make the play. And now breaking free, and it's a try. Oh, my goodness. What an individual effort there. And St. John's will add to their lead. And nicely done there.
Yeah. Yeah, go off.
That was Nick Kazmerzik.
Have number 8 green blood sub.
And when he first kicked that ball, it didn't look like he'd be able to make the play. That ball, though, taking a good bounce and able to just use his speed and explode into the open field. And now St. John's will attempt the conversion kick. Obviously, with another try being scored in the corner. Definitely going to be a tough one. And the kick does not connect. But St. John's now working with a 29-5 lead after that very
Brian, did you have someone come in for 8?
impressive individual effort by
Blood
Kazmerzik.
sub, a guy can come back on. No, but I'm saying you can have a guy who's been taken off come back on. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Yeah. I want you to have your full complement, right? Yeah. What's that? Okay, come in. Yeah, thank you.
So Endicott will kick once again. That time a deeper kick than their last few. And now Endicott back in possession, trying to go back to work offensively. A couple tackles broken there. Nice explosive play. And now they'll look to spin it out. And now threatening.
Tackle! Tackle!
And now spun out once again. Trying to move it down the line. But not on the same page with that pass. Loose ball.
Okay. 12, back off. Blood sub, back on. Thank you, Matt.
So Orion Mann briefly
Okay,
left the pitch as a blood sub, now back in. And he's one of Endicott's most physical players and toughest players to tackle offensively. They need him out there.
Crouch.
And St. John's now will take the scrum.
Fine. Set.
And picking and going out of the scrum. Once again, Mooney.
That's a tackle now.
It
Move
continues
away.
to be a force to be reckoned with. He does not go down at first contact.
Green back. He's good. We're all good. We're all good now. Thank you.
As the ruck formed, now we'll see St. John's not spinning it out,
Tackle.
opting to just continue to muscle it. And Mooney once again. And now spinning it out.
10.
Now quick touch and go for
right.
St. John's.
We're all on. No, he was not in the tackle. Had rights.
So Endicott back in possession. Quick touch and go. As that pass dropped. Knock on called. And that looked like Endicott might have an opportunity there for a breakaway play, but not on the same page with that pass. So we'll have another scrum. And this is another area in which St. John's has been dominant in these scrums. And obviously, having such good size in their pack, that's to be expected.
Fine. Set. Hold it, guys. Hold steady.
As that is spun out of the scrum. And the tackle made, ruck formed.
Yes.
And St. John's sticking with the pack.
6, give me more. 6, give me more.
And Mooney, once again, just continues to drive. And now St. John's moving it down the line. Nearly had a chance for a breakaway there.
Now it's a tackle. Turnover good. We have touch called. Here we go. Thank you, Dave. Thank you.
So St. John's will take the line out. Chris Berry now into the game, subbing in for Paul Franta, and he'll throw. St. John's getting some fresh legs out on the pitch with this second half substitution.
Stay. Yes, you can come now.
And with the substitution rules in rugby being a little bit different from, a number of other sports, the bench in rugby can be a lonely place.
Tackle.
Rugby, they don't allow you to
Don't touch
rotate in and out of the game the way you would in basketball or American football. There's no such thing as taking breaks in rugby. And from my experience, that was one of the most challenging parts of rugby, was not just the physicality and the hitting, but the cardio.
You're good right there. Ken, that was good. Thank you for that.
As we'll have another line out. St. John's able to win
Yes.
it, now running a tank. And now in threatening territory. And we'll see if they just try to muscle it in.
Okay, 8, we're done. 8, we're done. We're done. All right,
Now
okay.
Endicott back in possession, so able to blow up that ruck.
No, I got to call in blue 5 on the ground.
Play whistle
Blue
dead.
5 on the ground. Thank you, Dave. Blue 5.
So St. John's with another opportunity here. And in this position with another opportunity to add to their lead and really put a nail in the coffin. And they'll take another line out. See if they try to run a tank play out of this. And they do.
That was knocked on in the mall.
And now a knock-on called
Red.
on St. John's. So Endicott actually catching a big break there.
He knocked it on.
And it was Kyle Selverda,
Yeah, just
the prop, actually called for the knock-on in the mall.
Sorry, wipe it up. None of my jerseys. Never come off. Go. Yeah,
So
right?
we'll have a scrum down to Endicott.
Yeah. Crouch. Fine.
Endicott able to win the scrum. Orion man there driving. Now the ruck formed.
23 lost his feet. Sorry, 23 lost his feet. 8, I'm sorry about that. Okay.
And Endicott will boot it away.
Yeah, Sarah. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm chewing on a lot of rubber right now. Yeah, thank you.
So Endicott will take another line out. And running out of time to get back into this match. They need to make a big play here. But that won't happen as that lineout actually deflected. Now St. John's back in possession and now exploding into the open field. And attempting another kick and chase. That time it didn't work. But
Good
now
job
setting
moving.
up
Good.
the ruck.
Stay here, guys.
Looking to spin it out. And a nice offload there by Mooney as he was going
Lost his
down.
feet. 21, let go of it. Yep, it's available. Throw it back.
And
21,
the ruck
great job.
formed. And now St. John's threatening once again.
All right, we're done. Good job, guys.
As a turnover there by St. John's. So Endicott will take the line out deep in their own territory. And if they can win this line out, we'll see if they just try to boot it away. Adjust the field position a little bit. St. John's, with the way they're set up, it looks like they're anticipating that.
Who's knocked on? We have a scrum 15.
As a knock-on now called on St. John's.
15 to green. Got me?
So Endicott will take the scrum.
I just want to make sure I had the mark right. Yeah, we're good. That's accurate. We're going to stick to that. Thank you, guys. Crouch. Fine. Set. Hold, guys.
And Endicott will pick and go out of the scrum. St. John's, though, all over it.
The poach was good. He was in the wrong position. All right. 6 away.
And in this situation, you know, deep in your territory like that and down as many as Endicott is, they really need to try to pass the ball down the line. These pick and goes are not going to work in this situation. See, offload made. Ruck formed.
No hands, Red. Give me a step, Red. Give me 1 step back.
Now St. John's trying to blow up this ruck.
Hands first. Your hands first, yeah. Yep.
And a quick touch and go by Endicott. Now breaking free into the open field. The offload made. And this is the exact type of play
Tackle.
that Endicott needs in this
Stay back,
situation. And now threatening.
Guys, we're done.
And that pass caught on the bounce.
Release him, 1 roll.
And a big scoring opportunity here for Endicott. Let's see if they can
I know,
capitalize.
he couldn't get away. 1 away.
As play whistle
I know
dead.
you were trying.
A quick touch and go. And a try for Endicott.
You were just in the wrong spot. They couldn't play quick because you were in the way. I know you couldn't
So
move.
Finn
That's why
Cohane
they
able to
spoke.
finish it off.
Attacking play.
And Endicott now trying to dig into St. John's lead. And Cohane will attempt to kick himself.
I have another whistle with a light booster.
And that drive all got started by that impressive individual effort by Cohane, breaking into the open field.
You know the number of the guy.
So with the conversion kick,
Okay, well, perfect.
St. John's lead now cut down to 29-12. But obviously, with limited time left, it may be too little too late.
We're better than yesterday.
So now St. John's will kick to Endicott. Let's see if Endicott can build off of some of the momentum of that last try. As the tackle made, ruck formed. Endicott has to spin this ball out. Now St. John's looking to blow up the ruck. That ball kicked forwards. St. John's will scoop it up. And now St. John's back in possession.
No hands, you're off your feet. No, he lost his feet first. He lost his feet first. Okay. Time off. What's up? Okay. You okay? Relatively speaking? Come on.
So Kokesh actually got up slowly after that play. Not clear what happened to him as that ball booted away. And St. John's will take another line out. And the line out won by St. John's. Running another tank play.
Okay, leave him now.
A solid hit right there. Nicely done by Mann on that tackle. As now St. John's going back to work. And the offload made. This could be another scoring opportunity. And the tackle made there. It may very well be another penalty for a high tackle. Got him around the neck area.
High tackle, close to the try zone here.
And the yellow card issued. And you see the nice offload there, creating the opportunity.
That's the full 7 points.
And Zach Nadeau making the high tackle there. But now actually St. John's being awarded the full 7 points due to the fact that it most likely would have been a scoring play had the penalty not occurred. And you'll see that from time to time. You know, penalties called near the try line on illegal tackles will result in points. So St. John's now leads 36-12. Endicott will kick it away. As the big man showing some athleticism there. Kyle Salverda showing pretty good leaping ability for a prop. As this could be another scoring opportunity. Out in the open field and offloaded. Nice little run there.
Tackle now.
As the ruck formed, St. John's threatening once again.
Tackle. Yep, didn't get it. 10, good try. No. That's all good.
And now St. John's in the driver's seat offensively. Play whistle dead though. And Endicott will take another line out.
You got to come in a little bit. Right there, it's good. Scrum.
So played whistle dead once again. And now St. John's will take the scrum.
Okay, guys, the clock is accurate. Yeah, that's fine.
And at this point, St. John's just trying to pad the stat sheet a little bit.
If you don't have a prop, can you not prop? Because we can take a wing off and bring him back on if he's the only guy left. Okay, here we go. Yeah. What's that?
So we use the blue one.
Yeah. Can you give me a hand signal when the camera is ready?
Of course, I got you. Yeah.
I wasn't sure
Crouch.
yesterday.
Yeah. Yesterday
It was just a.
Fine.
Today we got it. I got
Set.
you, man.
Hold it steady, guys.
And a forward pass called there on St. John's.
It's going to be, the game will be over for you. Yeah, it was at 74 minutes. He's fine. Yeah, he can keep tying.
So Endicott catching a break there.
Sorry. I know. I've done it. The very last game I ever played was as a hooker, and that was no more. Yeah.
You asked the producer what the guy who's announcing's name is. He's a different guy today. So when I send it back to him.
So time winding down now as
Crouch.
Endicott will take the scrum.
Fine.
And it's been just a dominant
Steady, guys.
performance for the St. John's team, and they've played well in so many areas of the game. You know, we've obviously seen them muscle the ball offensively with their pack. We've seen them, you know, use their backs athleticism in the open field. They're able to score on a kick and chase, and also have played a very smart game defensively.
They got to get away.
And really, this St. John's team, with no chinks in the armor. But now a scoring opportunity late here for Endicott. As that ball dropped.
Lost on the ground by 9.
Looked for a minute there, like man,
From green.
may take it the distance. Then as he was going down, couldn't get the offload off cleanly.
And then just stand in front of the camera so we can get the proper framing.
And now we'll have another scrum. Just under a minute left to play in this
use the
match.
gold line, come to the left. Good.
St. John's still leading by a score of 36-12.
It's less than 1 minute. Crouch.
And this should just about do it.
That's the spirit of rugby. Fine.
Well, I wish there was
Set.
a bag. No fucking-
Yep, good.
And that ball spun out. And now Endicott with an opportunity here. And they want to finish this match on a strong note. As the tackle made.
No, 23 try for it. He lost it forward. Good try, lost it forward. We have time for one more.
And they will
Last
run
play.
one more play here. So St. John's will close this out with a win, but Endicott with the opportunity to finish the match on a strong note.
Last phase of play, guys. Crouch. Fine. Set.
Stand right there.
So Endicott going back to work offensively.
A little bit to the left.
Tackle made.
A little bit to the left.
A ruck formed.
Is that good?
Oh, there was a here.
All right. He said just don't move.
High tackle called. A quick touch and go.
When you interview, like, remember that spot?
And driving in. And a try.
And I'll give you the hand signal when we're going on.
4 by 10.
I'll give you the hand signal when we're going on.
So once again, Finn Cohane
Yeah, I got you. No problem.
able to pound it into the try zone.
Good job.
And for Endicott, obviously, they can take away some consolation from today's loss, being able to finish on such a strong note. And that says a lot about, you know, obviously the character of their team, just not quitting and battling it out until the final seconds. So that'll do it for today's match. Your final score, St. John's 36,
Well,
Endicott
congratulations.
17. don't go anywhere.
Thank you.
We'll be bringing you more
Yeah.
of today's rugby matchups here on the NSCRO YouTube channel as well as the Next Level Rugby channel.
Good job, guys.
Today was, as I said, a dominant win for St. John's. St. John's playing well in so many different facets of the game. But the most underrated part of their game was their defense. They were able to slide so well. And the Endicott backs were really never able to get into sync with their passing and really make that many explosive plays. A bright spot, obviously, for Endicott was Finn Cohane. Was able to score 2 tries, make a number of plays in the open field. But all in all, it wasn't enough. St. John's finishes off the dominant win. And your final score, once again, St. John's 36, Endicott 17. This is Leverett Ball for Next Level Rugby. Thank you so much for tuning in. And now, in just a minute, we will have some post-match interviews. As you see some of the clips here from today's matchup. And in just a minute, Brett Anker will be coming to you live from on the pitch.
Yeah. I know, right? Yeah.
So in just a second, as mentioned, we will have Brett Anker.
All right, so tell now.
And so we are coming to you live from the pitch. Brett, take it away.
Nicky, you have to let me know when he's going on, bro.
Endicott College Rugby. I know it wasn't the result you were really looking for today, but how do you figure you guys played in a third place game that was against a tough St. John's University?
Yeah, same as the first. We just played really tough. I mean, we got a lot of new guys to the game, so the only thing you can ask for is that they play really well. As you can see, we got a lot of penalties. A lot of guys are newer, and the only thing you can ask is that they play hard. And third place game was just as important to us, especially for the seniors, grad students that are on the team. We're trying to leave the new guys off at a good start for next year, put them in a good place. So, I mean,
the level of small college rugby has been on the rise throughout the country. How have you seen the level of play increase in your time at Endicott and here this weekend?
Oh, it's changed tremendously. I mean, you start to see a lot of athletes from other sports coming over to rugby, they're switching sports. So you see the level of play gone really high. I mean, I didn't play my first 3 years at Endicott. I started my junior and senior year. So from what I saw back then till now, it's completely different. Now you see guys going professional out of even NSCRO, not just D1 players. So
yeah, speaking of professional players, Jackson Thebes from your Endicott rugby team recently signed a contract with the New England Free Jacks. How cool is it for someone from your program to be able to make a professional career at a rugby?
Oh, it's awesome, especially coming from a tiny school. I mean, it gives all of us a little hope that maybe some of us can make a jump too, but it also kind of sucks because we definitely could have used them out there the past 2 games, but we're happy for him and wish him luck, and hopefully some of us can make a jump with him at some point.
That's great. Let's send it back upstairs.
Well, nicely done. And so once again, your final score, St. John's 36, Endicott 17. But it was certainly a great experience here in Albany for this Endicott team to be able to get some exposure against top competition. And it's awesome, obviously, as mentioned in the interview, to see some of these small college players getting opportunities at the professional level. So that'll do it for our broadcast of today's match. And actually, excuse me, Brett actually has one more interview, and we're going to throw it down to him in just a second.
Let me know when to cue him.
And Brett, what do you got?
Throw it down, and he's on.
Thanks. Nick Kazmerchek here from St. John's University in Minnesota. I know it wasn't the game you wanted to be playing in today, but how do you guys feel you performed in this third place match?
You know, I'm really proud of my team today. We bounced back from a tough loss. We have a really young team. It was a huge accomplishment to make it here. I was very happy and proud of these boys. I'm so honored to get to be a captain of this team.
Bro,
I know that next year these guys are going to be able to come back and put up an even better performance, and I'm proud that I'm leaving this team better than when I found it.
How difficult for you is it mentally and physically to prepare for a third place game that may not mean as much as playing in a championship?
I don't think there's any difference. You have to prepare for every game the same way. You have to come out knowing that you have to respect your opponent. You have to know that they have a good skill level. And you have to know that what you prepared for is to come out and win the rugby game. Whether we're playing for third place or playing for the championship, it doesn't really matter. We know we have to come out and play our best.
Well, there you have it. St. John's takes third place here at the NSCRO National Championship. Send it back upstairs.
Done there, Brett. So obviously, as you just heard, today a big pride day, obviously, in the third place match. So once again, thank you so much for tuning in. Don't go anywhere, though. We'll be bringing you more NSCRO action all day right here on the Next Level Rugby channel and the NSCRO YouTube channel. Once again, this is Lever Ball.